Afternoon.
Afternoon.
Good afternoon! Hey, come on! It's a great day to be in the classroom. Why? Because I'm excited to be here, and I hope you guys will be by the end of this presentation. You guys just went to lunch, so it made me think of something. Summer, barbecues, having a great time. I'm sure you guys all had a chance to get there with family, friends. So let's think of ourselves in this barbecue. Let's picture our Uncle Ed, you know, that lovable, funny guy, someone you love and care about, and all of a sudden, grabs his hand and he drops to the ground. Uncle Ed is having a heart attack. Well, what are you going to do? You know what you're going to do? Nothing. Unless you have the life-saving skills needed to save Uncle Ed from that heart attack. Now, is it a guarantee? No, and I'm going to tell you why during this class. But what is guaranteed, you will increase their chance of living 10% every minute by actually getting down and performing CPR the right way. The great thing is, some of you may have heard about CPR, some of you may have had CPR. This is a new technique that's out there, simplifies it, enables you to do it without any protective equipment, safely, effectively, anywhere, anytime, any place. And as it says up there, save a life. How awesome is that? What a gift. You get to sit in a class and leave here with a skill to help save the life of someone you love and care about. Now, if that isn't interesting, I don't know what is. So, there is some concepts here. We're going to try and break down some physiological stuff, hopefully in terms that you easily understand. But I want you guys to feel comfortable to ask the question anytime. I'm going to ask you to actually physically get down and perform a task. You're going to perform the task in the right sequence. Why? Because it's important. Because it's a proven scientific fact that you will actually perform the task the way that you were trained to do it and the way you did it the last time. So I want you guys to do it the right way here. So if I have to ask you to do it again, it's not because I'm busting you, it's because I care about you and I care about the people you may have to do this on. If for some reason you have a hard time with it and after you do it once you couldn't get it the second time, feel free to see me after class and we'll get you through. Some people have a problem doing it in front of other people. I want you to know we're going to give you a chance to practice. Not just going to test you out after seeing the video, because I am going to show you the American Red Cross video. I'm going to explain the process to you step by step. I'm even going to show it to you. But I want you to know how important this is because I actually just ended a career as Lieutenant Department of Corrections. In 20 years there, not only did I see it, I had to execute it several times. In the military, I have seen it and executed numerous times. And as a civilian, I have had to execute it. Anytime, anywhere, any place, this could happen to you. It could happen in this classroom. The cool thing is, at the end of this class, you'll be prepared to handle it. Does that sound pretty good to everybody?
Yeah.
Good. Again, questions? Anytime, just raise a hand. I'm more than happy to get to you. So, how are we going to get there? The first thing you need to understand is the principles of CPR. Like I said, there's physiological stuff going on. We need to understand why we're doing what we're doing. I'm going to give you a role model presentation. You're going to get to see it on video. You're going to get hands-on practice. And then you're going to actually perform it in the following sequence. I'm even going to give you a nice little thing to bring home. So make sure, Corey, you're going to remind me to hand those out at the end of class, if you would. Great, appreciate it. I want you to be able to bring that home, something tangible, little reminder, something you can bring with you, skill sets, a lot of information, short amount of time, but I don't want you to leave here and just forget about it. Now the first thing, somebody tell me, what is CPR? What does CPR stand for?
Cardiopulmonary resuscitation.
Outstanding, very good. Now there's a lot of components to that. Somebody tell me, you had your hand raised, the cardio portion of it.
Essentially, you're trying to ensure that you gain and maintain the function of the heart.
Okay, fantastic. Great way in relation to the heart. Cardio, heart. So pulmonary, anybody? Anybody else?
You want to get a pump going for the heart so that you have oxygen to the brain, to the vital organs.
Hold that thought, because you just answered eloquently what we're trying to accomplish, and that's awesome, Cub. I appreciate that very much. But pulmonary, think of the word pulmonary. What are we talking about? Because besides the heart, is there another organ we're worried about as well?
So the lungs,
The
right?
lungs, outstanding. Very good, very good. So what we're trying to accomplish, as he so eloquently said, we are trying to deliver oxygen, the oxygen that's in the blood. In case you did not know, you have oxygen that's in your blood. If we compress the heart, if we move it around our body, we are supplying life-sustaining oxygen to the organs that desperately need it. Everybody clear on that? That's why compressions, in case you didn't know, there is a science behind why the American Red Cross is now trying, they're under a program, that's what this is part of, they're trying to educate 5 million Americans to go out and be able to perform this. Because statistics prove that even doing just compressions, you are still helping to sustain life. So why hands only? Anybody have any ideas? You can give me one.
Talking about hands only, so I assume the fact that nobody carries around a shield or a pocket mask with them, regardless of.
Okay, fantastic. How many of you on your own time are actually carrying around a mask? Yeah, I'm that guy. I don't carry it on my person most times, but I have one in my vehicle at all times. All my vehicles have one. Why? Because I'm that guy. If I see you in the car crash, I'm going to be able to do it. The cool thing is with this technique, right, if it happened right here, I know I can still effectively put you in a position to live through a cardiac event. Now remember, this is for adults. This is for adults. There's different parameters for infants and children, and when you watch the video, it'll tell you to get the American Red Cross program certification for infant and child, if that is applicable to people you love and care about. I would highly recommend it. This is adults only, just so we're clear on that and don't create any confusion. So again, we're not walking around with a mask. Does anybody here really want to put their mouth on somebody they don't know? No. I got news for you. Even the people I do know, I'm not so keen about putting my mouth on. So, well, and the fact that, has anyone here actually done CPR on somebody? No. Okay. Well, that's good, and I hope your luck continues. But the good thing is, after this class, you won't be worried about it, because you'll know what to do. The problem was, there's a physiological component. When you put breaths into somebody, guess what happens when you put too much breath into someone?
Make them puke.
Outstanding. It's a fancy term called gastric distension. Too much air displaces contents of stomach, and poof, we have puke. So eloquently stated. So we don't want that happening to us. And the cool thing is we don't have to worry about it. That's the beauty of it. Any other things?
Got nothing.
You got nothing?
Got
Has
nothing.
anyone here actually been through a CPR club? Of course. Wow. Okay. So that's actually excellent because you do have the answers. Kim Elise, you tell me. You took a CPR course. Now I'm here to tell you the only thing we're worried about is compressions. How does that differ from the course you took and the course you're about to take?
I don't know.
Were there more elements to the course you took previously?
I think it was a basic course that they were providing on the ship.
Are you going to get head tilt chin lift in this class?
No?
Nope. You're not worried. Where that was a complex structure with many things going on, this is very simplistic. They made it very simple. The component of breathing and how you go about establishing an airway was a #1 distractor in the efficiency. And that's why this allows for rapid application. Proven fact, when the great thing about, just hold that question just a second. When you're establishing a head tilt chin lift, how many of you during your CPR course had a lot of problem with establishing the right head tilt chin lift and had to reposition? Raise your hands, be honest. Okay, and there lies the problem. You're wasting valuable time. The transition between compressions and breaths can be so slow and inadequate. Number one, the breaths aren't going in effectively anyway. And you're stopping, I told you, there's oxygen in the blood. So if we've got oxygen in the blood, and we know that by pushing it into the body, we're putting oxygen all the way through the body, that's a win-win. There's no need to worry about the breaths, knowing most lay people fail. If you're trained at a higher level and you're a professional, by all means do full CPR, especially if it's a team event, there's two of you trained. You're going to be even more effective. For the average person who doesn't do this all the time, this is the most effective way. Going back to your question, sir.
Okay, you're saying for why hands only, right? So basically you're trying to get at the fact that, like, even though whether or not you are certified CPR or you're not CPR, you should at least be able to do the compression portion of it, right? Which is I know they're teaching it now to where they're like, yep, compressions, that's the number one, first and foremost, right? If you can do that correctly, you can still potentially save somebody's life.
You are 100% correct. And again, going back to the equipment thing, you may be trained in CPR, but you don't want to give breaths without the mask. So you're not going to do it. But this gives you an opportunity because you have no problem hopping down and doing compressions on somebody you don't know.
Right.
Because there's no exposure. Do you have your hand raised?
Yes. I have a two-part question. How much oxygen is in the blood and the compression moves it around? And if the lungs are not moving, how do you get rid of the carbon dioxide?
Okay, great question. And I don't want to delve into it too much because the science isn't important, but the general standard is 65%. That's the accepted standard. Let's put it this way. It's enough to sustain life. And this is actually an important thing. Does anyone know what the percentage is, the rate of survival, and how it diminishes every single minute that you delay CPR?
So it's like 10%?
Congratulations. 10%. So think about this. If you delay, going back to that scenario, right? The family picnic, everybody's standing around, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God! And nobody does anything, and you wait for an ambulance. In Connecticut, what's the average response time for an ambulance?
12, 15.
Congratulations, we have a winner. And that number varies. It goes from 4 minutes to 20 some odd in a rural area. City to where they have paid firefighters and EMTs on staff. If you're in a rural area, now think about this. Does anybody here, if you're in the inner city and you're next to it and they're going to be on you in 4 minutes, is anyone comfortable with a 40% less chance of living? No? Me neither. By the way, if you're in a rural area and no one does CPR, you have no chance of survival. By the time the ambulance gets here, it's 100% certain you're not going to survive the cardiac event. How scary is that? But again, 40% on average, Connecticut, statistics. 4 minutes before they come in your house. Best case scenario, you lost 40% because nobody could do something so simple. That's almost criminal. And that's why when you leave here today, I hope you encourage everyone you love and care about, everyone you know, to hop on board with this. Too easy, right? Too easy. It's just as effective as CPR. The statistics are proving that as long as you do compressions, and you said it very well, you're doing the right thing by getting down there and doing compressions. Now, I want this to be very clear for you. Who are you doing CPR on? What is their condition? Living or dead? Altogether. They're dead. You're only doing CPR on somebody who has no signs of life. So the cool thing is you can't screw this up because they're already dead. Don't worry about it. There's nothing you can do that's going to make their condition worse. Now, doesn't that make you happy, Eric? I know. It makes me happy, too. Too easy. I told you anyone can master this. For those of you that have kids, I hope you teach it to them. The life you save may be your own. Everyone. You don't know. There's people of every age that have cardiac events. It's nice to know everybody in the household can actually do this. Make sense? So, I told you the American Red Cross actually has a program, and they are actually nice enough to come up with a short little video. You're going to be able to hear and see, start to finish, all the steps. I actually want you to pay attention to this because we're going to be doing the same thing. A few little deviations, I'm going to explain why, just because I want you to know the components. We're going to emphasize a few things, and we'll elaborate on that after the video. And I told you one thing we haven't talked about yet is when CPR stops, when you stop doing compressions. So they explain that in the video. So if you would, I'd like you to pay particular attention to that.
How to perform hands-only CPR. Cardiac emergencies can happen anywhere. Be prepared with a simple technique known as hands-only CPR. You can learn it in minutes, it's easy to remember, and it can help save a life. You will need the willingness to act and a few simple skills. Whenever possible, use disposable gloves when providing emergency care. Step 1. If you see someone suddenly collapse, check the scene for safety and then see if the person responds to you by tapping them on the shoulder and shouting, "Are you okay?" Step 2. Briefly look for breathing. Step 3. If they don't respond, call or send someone to call 911 or the local emergency number right away. Step 4. If the person is not breathing or is gasping, prepare to give chest compressions. Kneel beside them and put the heel of one hand on the center of their chest. Place your other hand over that hand, lacing your fingers together. Position your shoulders directly over your hands, keeping your arms straight and your fingers off the chest. Step 5. Push hard and fast, at least 2 inches, then let the chest rise completely before pressing down again. Don't take your hands off the chest, just your weight. Step 6. Keep going. Do not stop compressions until the person shows an obvious sign of life-like breathing. The scene becomes unsafe. An automated external defibrillator, or AED, is ready. You're too exhausted to continue, or a trained responder takes over. Step 7. Get training, and encourage others to do so by taking an American Red Cross Health and Safety course. Knowing full CPR, chest compressions, and breaths will enable you to help in other emergencies such as drowning and choking. Every household should have at least one person trained in life-saving skills. Did you know? Most people who survive a cardiac emergency are helped by a bystander. To find your local Red Cross chapter, visit redcross.org.
So some very powerful information there. Could anyone tell me what one of the reasons is for discontinued CPR? You're exhibiting part of it right now.
Someone's breathing. They're breathing.
Okay.
Fatigue.
And just on that note, from personal experience, do you think it's going to be very evident that they start breathing?
Yep.
It's almost dramatic, kind of like you see in the movies, in most cases. So believe me, there'll be no doubt when they come back to life, so to speak. Did someone else have another one?
The AED is available.
Okay, Michael, on that note, first of all, let's talk a little bit about the AED, because I want you to know what this is. It is hugely important. Anyone know what AED stands for?
Automated external defibrillator.
Outstanding, automated external defibrillator. And what does that wonderful device do?
Kickstarts your heart.
Ooh, Kickstart getting a great song, too. Excellent.
Kickstarts your jump.
Yes. Want to expound on that?
Takes the measurement of your heartbeat and whether it's irregular or regular and whether you have heartbeat at all. If you don't have a heartbeat, it's not going to shock it. But if you have a heartbeat and it's irregular, it's going to shock it back to the regular.
Okay, you're definitely on the right path. What we're talking about is the technical term, ventricular fibrillation. You don't need to know any of that. If you think of your heart, right, as a quivering, think of Jell-O, everyone's seen Jell-O? And you picture it shaking. The heart is supposed to have a normal rhythm. When it is having a rhythm that is not normal, here's the sad part. CPR is ineffective at restoring a cardiac event that is ventricular fibrillation related. So you can do compressions perfectly, you can do them forever. You're not going to be able to restore that condition. The AED must be deployed. And as I believe you brought up, the device won't shock unless shock is needed. So this isn't a class on the AED, but what is important when we do the practice, I want you to get into the habit of telling somebody, go get the AED. Why? Corey, why do you think that's important?
To go get the AED.
Mm-hmm.
Guess it saves you a little more time.
You're kind of on the right path, but I just told you it fixes one particular condition that your compressions won't. And without it, you're all done.
Someone with the heart. Right, someone with the heart.
So you tell me, would you like the AED to come say you're having a cardiac event and it's ventricular fibrillation and I need that machine? Would you like it to be on the way?
Oh, definitely.
Right, because we know the compression buy us time. We're still sending out oxygen to preserve vital organs, but we also know that eventually that oxygen's going to run out. It continues to deplete. So over time, we're in trouble. We need the AED. We want the AED. But going back to what Michael said, do we stop doing compressions because the AED showed up? No. Why not?
The AED will tell you whether to continue CPR or not.
Okay, true. But has anyone here ever had the pleasure of using an AED, a trainer one?
Yeah, in training.
Yeah, and how long does it take to get it out, get the pads set up, get it hooked up, run the
Take
diagnostic?
about a minute or so.
Yeah, hopefully quicker than that, but yeah, it takes time. So the point is, why would we stop life-saving measures? You get the AED deployed, put into place, and when they're ready to turn the machine on, that's when you stop compressions. You let the machine run its cycle, and then it will tell you whether you need to consider doing CPR again. And it literally does that for you. Tells you continue CPR because there's no shock advice. What is another condition? What else are we talking about? Why would we stop? None of you here have done CPR, you said. How physically, you're raising your hand, you have?
Yes.
You have?
No, I have not, but I can answer your question.
I would love to hear.
You said like when medically trained personnel arrive?
And on that note, are we stopping as soon as the ambulance rolls up?
No.
Absolutely
When
not.
they physically get out and like they're ready to take over.
When they tell you to stop.
I'm ready to believe you.
They will tell you, they will physically tell you when you finish compression number 30, we'll jump in. They will give you a pointer. You'll never have any confusion. They will ask you questions while you're doing compressions. You will give them answers. It's kind of weird having a conversation while you're doing it, but you'll do it. They'll tell you. I had the foolish notion that running a marathon would be a good thing when I was a younger man, which, by the way, it was a foolish note, so I did it. I also did CPR for about 28 minutes. Guess which one was worse? They both stunk. But yes, they were physically exhausting. I will also say the CPR for 28 minutes was more mentally exhausting. So if you're physically unable to continue, that's okay. It's understandable. If you have to stop and take a break, it's okay because they're dead. You're not causing any harm. Don't feel bad over it. You do your best. You continue as long as you can.
It's just a question along those lines. Like going through the training, you know, I hear medically trained personnel talk about how like you're going to be doing CPR correctly, essentially if you break someone's ribs, because you're physically compressing somebody's chest at least 2 inches. Like, do you think, is that a true statement?
Okay. Is it a true statement in the fact that if you do CPR, particularly on an older person, do you think you may break some ribs?
Yes.
Correct. Does it mean that you're doing it effectively?
No.
Not necessarily, because as we'll show you, the cool thing about the devices I brought today, this machine will monitor what you're doing right and what you're not doing right. It will tell you whether your hand is actually off to the side and actually pressing down. A lot of times rib fractures happen because of improper hand placement and angle of compressions. So it doesn't necessarily mean you're doing it the wrong way or the right way. It's sometimes a byproduct, but not always. Hopefully that answers your question. Very good. Any other questions at all on anything you saw in that video for right now? Well, good. Now you get a chance to actually get up. So if you would, everybody, form around that second mannequin that's in the middle. And I'm going to actually give you a demonstration of CPR in action. So if you would. Scene is safe. Are you okay? You, call 911. You, go get an AED. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about what went on there. First thing I did, what was the first thing I said? Okay, I said that because I wanted you guys to understand what I was doing, because I'm just looking around, right? Why am I worried about my safety? Corey from the front row. What if this guy is lying on the, we just talked about electrocution, right? Oh my, how nice is it, I touch him and now, pow, now I'm down and I'm a victim. Can't help anybody if you can't help yourself. One of my favorite soldiers got killed on his way home, stopping during a snowstorm to actually help somebody on the highway. Put his own safety in peril. Didn't work out for him. Great kid. Good intentions, bad execution. This isn't just something on a test. I want you guys to take it serious. When you approach a scene, think, what's going on here? Take it all in. So now the scene is safe. What did I do next?
Check for responsiveness.
Checking for responsiveness, right? Michael, where did I touch that person?
On the shoulder.
Outstanding. Real simple. How did I shake him?
Gently, but not, just
Yeah, it was
effectively.
Yeah, it was a pretty good,
Yeah.
and what was I doing at the same time?
Ask him.
Yeah, are you okay? Why am I doing that?
Make sure they respond.
Because here's the thing, what if this person, maybe they had a little fainting spell, or maybe they were just laying down sleeping, how do you know? You could be walking through a park, you see somebody, you think they're not. I was just sleeping. Oh great, now I got an ambulance rolling? Yikes! Yeah, that's $800 of your tax dollars and a very embarrassed person. So that's why we're checking. Now, the one thing I did a little bit differently from the video, and I want to explain why, how did I check for breathing?
Put your ear up to his.
Okay. What did they do in the video?
Look for
They just looked, okay? They're looking for obvious signs of breathing. With older people, how hard do you think it is to distinguish if somebody's breathing or not? It is. It's very difficult. They're very shallow breathing. So it's not that hard to get down, put your ear close to the mouth, to feel it on your breath, and look for the rise and fall of the chest. It doesn't take any extra effort. Now determine, oh wow, no breathing, they're unresponsive, what am I doing? I'm calling for help. I did two different things.
You call 911.
That's right. And who did I point to for 911? That's right. Now there's a group of people here. Why did I single somebody out?
Because I was right here.
Close to you.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
No, because I'm right here. No, seriously, I was right here.
Yeah, exactly right. It was the,
Specific direction.
I gave specific direction to a person that I could single out in front of me. You have a task, you have a task. And if there's two people and, maybe I say, you call 911 too. Because if I yell it into the crowd, what's in danger?
No one's gonna do it.
Exactly. I put you on Front Street. It certainly puts you into action. It's a human response, and it's proven that if you single someone out, in most cases they're gonna call 911 for you. So the next thing I did was what? Okay, to facilitate starting compressions, what did I do? You're absolutely right.
Check hand placement.
Okay. How do you think I got appropriate hand placement?
Use the nipple line or the center part of
Yeah, I saw there's a zipper on here, and well, seeing as it's there, how convenient. Do you have to do that? No, you don't. what we're trying to do is, he said, center of the nipple line, middle of the chest, equidistant. I'm putting, it does not matter what hand over hand, how you have your hands, whatever's comfortable for you. In the video, hand over hand, fingers interlocked. That may not be comfortable for you. When you try this, try it a couple of different ways. It's okay. What you need to get out of this is you need to be close to the body. You need to put that palm, the other palm on top, and you need to lock your arms out. Your shoulders need to be directly over your hands. How far are we depressing?
At least 2 inches.
At least 2 inches. Think of the number 2. 2 inches. That's pretty significant. Pump down, and then what?
Do not let go.
All the way up.
Yeah,
We don't take our hands off, but down, right to the start position. Down. How fast are we going?
To the rate of 100 per minute.
Okay, 100. Keep that number in mind. You can go faster, and that's okay. If you go slower, what are you doing?
Doing it correctly.
Exactly right. You're diminishing their chance of survival by not adequately moving the blood. So remember, if you're going to err on the side of caution. Now, here's a little music trivia. Who here actually knows who the Bee Gees are? Don't be ashamed, raise your hand. That's great. Who here has heard the song Staying Alive? Okay, wow. If you haven't, go online, and I'm not kidding, please do this because you'll never forget it. I promise you, because how ironic, staying alive is what we're trying to do, right? The song Staying Alive actually goes to the beat that's 101 beats per minute. So if you're singing that song in your head, congratulations, you're doing the right thing. So there you go, that's your helpful tip of the day. You can't screw it up and get a great tune in your head. Too easy, right? So now, I want to talk to you a little bit about this machine. So if you would, come close enough so you can actually see this. Because this is the greatest training tool ever. I'm going to ask, when you're doing this, to actually use this as an assessment tool. This will actually tell you, by pressing this little button, there's 80 and 100. Listen to, can everyone hear that? It's very faint. That's 100 beats per minute. So when you're lined up and you're doing this, now I want you to watch these lights. What a coincidence. Green. If I'm in the yellow, what's that? Too shallow. I get to the green, good to go. If I'm hitting red, what am I doing? Breaking red, right? Too easy. Now I want to show you something here. Watch these lights in the middle. If, see that? That yellow light? What is that telling me?
Too far.
My hand placement is wrong. I'm pressing down on the wrong side of the chest. Oh no, I'm on the other side. I'm all over the place. So it will literally show you if you're doing, by the way, notice this was yellow, yellow, yellow. Why is that one red? Xiphoid process, bad thing, stay away. So that nipple line, you want to be centered on it. There's stuff down here we don't want to break. So now, listen. That's what you want to see. No lights in here, green over here, and in sequence, beep, beep, beep. So hopefully you got a little rhythm. Take your time, and you can actually turn that off so you don't drive each other crazy. Any questions at all? What I'm going to ask you to do, now I've got my, some of the people that have done CPR, feel free to help each other out. I'm going to be moving between the groups. This is your chance. I want everyone to get at least one full time through, because again, I'm going to actually test you on this. I want you to go through the sequence. Now here's the cool thing. Corey, you're off the hook. Because I'm actually going to give you all the steps. Too easy. So while you're standing there, you're going to help your peers because you've got all the answers right in front of you. So we're going to practice this the way that we're going to do it. If they miss a step, let them know, and they can try it again. Does everyone feel comfortable with the task at hand? All right, so let's rock. Break up into 3 groups, and again, we'll start right from scratch. I'm going to turn on the machines for you.
Hey, what now?
Yeah.
Hey, rest your hand.
You okay? Hey,
Yeah, I have a little things.
okay?
What's this one?
911.
Oh, it is? No
Get
shit.
the AED. We'll start.
All
Well,
right.
now it's politically correct, right? It's we transgender.
I'll check this.
You okay? You good?
Call 911. You go like, get an AED.
Seat safe. Got it. You're right. Call 911 out.
You guys don't be afraid to
What did you
tell
miss?
them.
I didn't even notice it till you said it.
That's
I'll
okay.
check for breathing.
Yeah,
you were breathing.
He wasn't breathing.
Yeah.
Then you go.
Say he wasn't breathing.
He wasn't breathing.
What else did you forget?
I don't know.
Good. Once you get enough compression,
Tell
you feel
somebody to call
comfortable,
911.
feel free, like I said, you want to
If
keep
there's an
running
AED
through it.
around, let me get it.
Hey, even if there's not an AED, always ask for the AED. Get into that habit. It's becoming more commonplace. All schools in Connecticut, they've got them. All public arenas, they've got them. All shopping malls, they've got them.
Submarines, they got them.
That's right. I made my department buy them. Never know, I might be the guy using them.
We have one.
All right. Area safe. You call 911.
Really, right?
You get an AED.
Area safe.
Oh.
He was just sleeping.
You gotta shake it.
Well, that's all right, he's got a free ambulance ride.
Are you okay? You call 911. You go get an AED. All right, you call 911.
If you would, make sure
You get an
you
AED.
say the scene is safe, because I'm gonna
Scene is
ask
safe.
you, I'm gonna expect you to say that when you first come on the scene. So that way I know you checked the scene, it's safe. Because I care about you so much.
Is this
Come on, Chris, use that ab muscle.
Hey, this is a very important principle.
I got this guy, no problem.
Why must your arms be completely straight? Why is that of the utmost importance?
Well, yeah, it has to be parallel. You can't have it.
Okay, hold that thought, though. You could be parallel and still have your arms bent,
Just
right?
want to ensure effectiveness.
Yeah, you're not gonna last nearly as long as you just, oh, it's during.
Correct. Because unfortunately, here's the problem. When your arms are bent, you're mostly using forearm muscles. You lock your arms out, it's like a piston.
Wait.
Yeah, you're using your weight to drive down. You literally can do it 10 times longer. You will fatigue so fast with your arms in real life, you'll be ineffective. And how sad watching somebody die in front of you. We don't want that. So concentrate on that technique. We're going to bring it back.
You got this.
I like your technique.
All right. Scene is safe. I didn't check them out. Are you okay? You call 911. Get an AED.
Get an AED.
Man, if I get down there, you'll be calling 911 for me with my knee. I ain't getting down there.
Lean over. I saw you do it already. Get a little closer to the
Seems safe.
body. Help you out a lot.
Yo, Chris, you good? No? Too drunk? All right, good. I'm looking for the rise and fall of the chest. You, call 911. You get an AED. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
That's like a habit open. I did 30.
Yeah, I was trying to see there. Yeah, well, yeah, no, I was trying to see like where it comes right at.
All right, so congratulations. Give yourself a big round of applause. Thank you very much. I told you that you were going to be able to go out there and perform it, and congratulations, you did. So thank you for that. I appreciate your efforts. But I want to talk a little bit about what we were going over today. So CPR, what does C stand for?
Cardio.
Pulmonary.
Resuscitation.
Outstanding. And CPR does what?
Delivers oxygen to vital organs.
Outstanding. Give me the first step, Annalise. CPR. First thing you do when you come to the scene.
secure the scene?
She actually wants to make sure the scene is safe, and wow, what a smart person. Great answer. Number 2.
Ask the person, touch your shoulders if they're okay.
So you're going to check for responsiveness, right? We want to make sure, we're going to ask them, shake that shoulder, and simultaneously we're going to check for
Breathing.
outstanding. And if there's no signs, no responsiveness, Todd, what are we going to do now?
Direct somebody to call 911 and someone, if there's a second person, to get an AED.
Outstanding. Can we ask that one person to do both?
Yes.
Great answer. Because we know that AED actually makes a difference. AED stands for what, Corey? I know I gave you the tough one. I can toss it to him, I know he knows.
I know it's an articulate emergency device.
Well, you're right there, man. Automated external defibrillator. And guess what? Does it really matter if you know what that is? No. We need to know what it does. And that corrects a condition that we know compressions aren't going to help with. So we need that machine if it's available. I told you, anytime, anywhere, any place, that this class will put you in a position to save a life. Is it going to save every life? No, it's not. I hate to tell you, here's the downside, folks. CPR only works in 33% of the cases. Properly done, CPR only works 1 out of 3 times. But I'll tell you what, if it's somebody you love and care about, are you okay with giving them that 1 out of 3 chance that they're going to actually survive that event?
Yep.
Because it's sure better than 0, right? I'll take 33 over 0. I gave you that list. Why do you think I gave you that list and said bring it home with you?
So we can teach other people.
Okay, I hope you do, Chris. I really hope you do. But I also want it as a tool for you, because I don't want you to throw this in a desk drawer. I want you to take this and put it on the refrigerator, so that every time you go in there to grab a beer, grab a snack, grab a whatever, you think, wow. Think about the people you love and care about. Because one thing we didn't talk about, which is really usually important, that's why I saved it to the end, is I gave you the physical skills. Well, there's another component of this called mental conditioning. You have to picture the people you love and care about in that horrible position, as horrible as it is. And then you need to see them in their time of need with you rendering the aid, doing it properly the way it needs to be done. Because I promise you this, proven success, scientific success, when you have mentally prepared yourself and physically trained to do it the right way, you will execute under pressure. If you don't mentally prepare, unfortunately the success rate goes down dramatically. So have a plan. Don't just take this knowledge and go home and do nothing with it, because if you do, unfortunately 9 months from now it won't mean anything. So put it somewhere and make it an everyday thought. Think about it. I hope you never have to do it, but I promise you this. You have all the skills necessary to go out and potentially save somebody's life. And if that isn't the best thing, I really don't know what is. So I want to thank you for really great class participation. I want to thank you for tremendous performance, taking it serious, execution, helping each other. And I just really want to thank you for the opportunity for sharing something that I really believe makes a difference in people's lives. So thank you, and I hope you have a great day.